Okay, live. Something. Okay, okay, good. All right. Um, Hi, everybody. If you can hear me or if you're seeing us and you're joining this discussion today from any of the platforms, let me know either on Twitter, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn. Probably on my comment box. Let's have a proper conversation today. Let's just do a quick check and be sure we're good, and then we proceed. Oh, I think we have one person joining us from Twitter, so that's amazing, or from YouTube rather. Okay. Okay, let me just do some quick check. Check. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into another episode of An Hour with the Manager. I'm your host, Subal Matthew, and like I said, I'm going to be here for as long as we don't know when, but we're going to always be here to keep the fire burning. So thank you very much, everybody, for always being patient with us every Thursday to stay tuned by 8 p.m. or whatever time it may be at your own location to tune in and join this very insightful and educative discussion, right? You know, we have lots of podcasts, but yeah, when you come to Now with the Manager, we try to let you know that yes, there are other podcasts, but with Now with the Manager, there is a podcast and there is also learning that you can also adopt. So thank you very much for always trusting in us to continue to deliver the best value to you who are listening to us at every point in time, because that's what motivates us. That's what motivates me to be here. And that's what motivates my team to always join me to keep the fire burning because of your support, because of your contributions, and because of your shout outs. And today we'll be going through a different route. Sorry to say, last week Thursday we weren't able to have a live, not because we didn't have a guest, but because of the quality of information we were supposed to have. So we had to pen that and let's see how to bring that in from October or September rather. And rest assured that September is fully packed with lots of valuable information. So happy new month for us seeing the first time in this month of September. And we're hoping that September will be a very amazing month and the remaining months of 2024. So thank you very much, everybody. And today, I have a very wonderful guest with me who is going to be sharing her product management journey, share her expertise, and also help us who are starting our journey in product management to also see how to navigate that path. And, you know, it's one thing to just maybe want to fill up a career, and it's another thing to have someone to guide you, right? I think you're going to cover up 10 years in 1 year or 2 years. So our guest here today would continue to help us do that today. So Ada, how are you doing? Good to have you.
Thank you very much, Matthew. I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm good too. I hope
Okay.
you're enjoying this very moment because we're going to be having a power packed 1 hour discussion.
Yes. So far, yes, I'm enjoying it.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much. I
Thank
guess to
you.
all of our listeners, to everybody who is listening to us, while you're joining, like I always say, don't come in alone, don't join alone. Make sure to share the link across. Send it to your friends' WhatsApp status, send it to your friend, send it to your own WhatsApp status, get your friend's phone, post it on their status. We have a YouTube link, share it across. Let's have people join us. If you can't join us on LinkedIn for the sake of maybe not trying to subscribe or maybe trying to get on board on LinkedIn, you can as well hit this, what do you call it, live button on YouTube and also join us on YouTube. Or you can as well join us on Twitter or X directly, and let's continue to learn and share valuable information together. Because, like I said, this conversation is not only meant for Ubong Matthew, or it's not only meant for my team, nor for my guests, but it's for all of you because you asked for it and we bring it for you, and we'll continue to deliver valuable information for you as much as we can in our own capacity. So thank you very much once again, everybody. And if you have any question, any contributions, any suggestions, any comments throughout this conversation, please feel free to send them into my comment box. I'll be very willing and open to respond to any question that comes to you. If you can't send them to the comment box, send them to my DM. I'll respond to them. I'll read it out for our guests to also do justice to them. And let's see how to, share valuable information together. And trust me, those questions keeps us motivated. It means that we're engaging and we'll have people who are consuming every information that we bring on board. So thank you very much once again. And don't forget to share the link across. Let's learn and share valuable information together. Okay, to get on board with the conversation of today, first, we'll all like to know our guests. I know a lot of people are wondering, oh, who have an hour with the manager brought on board today again? The past couple of weeks, we've had people from Kenya, we've had people from South Africa, probably, we've had people from Nigeria who have Vubong Matthew or an hour with manager brought on board today again. And we have Ada, who is for Nigeria and actually like myself, and also a Lagosian, very strong Lagosian. But we're going to hear much about her and also get acquainted with her journey. So please, Ada, talk to us. What have you been doing the past 3 years, and how did product management come to you? Or personally, did you just wake up one morning and decide to say, "Oh, let me see product management rather as my own thing," or you had other things doing before thinking about product management?
Okay, thank you, Matthew, for that very interesting introduction. Product management for me did not come, I was not aware. I didn't know that I was going to go into the product field. I never actually thought about it. It was never something that I'd envisioned myself doing, in the future or as a career
Yeah.
for that matter. However, I've been in the product field for about 3 years now, 3 years or more now. I've been opportunity to work with a wide range of products, both in the banking space, social networking, food tech. The only field I believe I haven't explored is health tech. But starting off as a product manager, I actually started off trying to transition into tech as a digital marketer.
Wow.
It's a very, very hilarious story. Um, I was relieved of my duties in a particular company where I worked because they said I wasn't bringing in my best foot, or I wasn't bringing my best foot forward at the job. And it made me start thinking about being competent and, having a skill, having something that I can say, okay, this particular thing is mine. This is something I am good at. Not relying on my job, but relying on myself to be able to feed myself, to be able to cater to my own personal needs and all that. So that led me into exploring the tech space. I started off thinking about, okay, right now I don't know how to code, I don't write code, I don't know how to do any technical things. What can I do? How do I learn? How do I, begin this journey into becoming a tech sis, like Nigerians will say? So I started thinking towards that, and then I started doing my own research. I started off with YouTube. And trust me, when you're trying to learn, when you're trying to learn on your own as a professional, it's a very, very difficult journey. Especially because nobody is pointing you in the right direction. You are just out there testing all the waters to see what would click. So
Yeah.
at first I said, I was like, okay, maybe I can learn to code. Maybe I can,
Okay.
see what it's all about. And then I started with Python. I'm like, okay, let me try to understand how to how to write code and can I do this? And then I started with
I'm going to sleep
Python,
on the
downloaded
PC if
all
I
the
try that.
I, it was not an easy journey. You need to see me trying
Okay.
to cram code, like, okay, so how do I write this? What is the next thing to do? So it was really difficult. I thought it was going
Okay.
to be like an easy journey. You just copy, paste, write until I figure that it's logic. There's a lot of thinking that has to go with writing code. And then I said, okay, you know what? This is not the space. This is not the right thing to do. Then I went back to YouTube to check for what to do, how to transition, non-code related jobs, tech jobs that I can do. I saw options like digital marketing, content writing, social media management. And that was when I chose digital marketing and started to explore digital marketing as an option. I actually did complete my courses in digital marketing. I got an internship to work for a digital marketing company. Started off there, and it wasn't just enough. It did not feel like the right fit. The business had a separate kind of vision compared to myself and what I wanted for myself. So I started reaching out to companies requesting to be a digital marketer in their space. And when you reach out to companies, the reality is you look desperate. They think that this one is looking for food to eat. She doesn't have food. So let's
Yeah.
take her, give her anything that we can. So what I
Yeah.
did, I reached out to about 10 companies. I remember searching top 10 digital marketing companies in Lagos, Nigeria. And then I
Okay.
sent the same email to all of them, cold mails to every one of them. And one particular company reached out and responded back. So that was the first company that gave me the leg up in product management. During my interview, they started asking me questions. They saw that
Sorry.
I
Is it?
had,
Sorry. Sorry, please. Are you
okay,
talking about digital marketing or product management?
I'm talking about product management and how I came
Oh,
into the
okay.
space.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
So that was the first company that gave me the leg up. They responded to my digital marketing request, but after my interview and giving like my background, my experiences, they said, you know what, we're not looking for a digital marketer, we're looking for a product manager. Can you do product management? So I was like, okay, I know little to nothing about this. However, I would be willing to learn. I want to learn. I would like to really explore that field because it sounds interesting. And that's how I found myself product management, full on the field, no courses, no background knowledge of what it's about, just bumping into the company. And it was a fintech company, so it's like a very fast-paced environment and having to work on so many high-level products, payment-related
Yeah.
products that
Yeah.
nobody prepared me for. But thankfully, I've been able to navigate that space. And currently, I work for a multinational startup, not in payments, but also out here to do something very, very innovative. So that's the journey so
Okay.
far, and that's how I
Wow.
came about product management. Although I think I
Wow.
need to like let your viewers know that about 75% of product managers do not actually study to be product managers. They tend to bump
Okay.
into the role. So,
Okay. Why
getting
why
into the
why why
space
why do you
and
say that?
realizing that. So because when you have conversations with product managers, oftentimes they tell
Okay.
you, oh, I didn't start off as a product manager. Somebody pointed me in that direction, right? Or something pushed me to that direction. And I've also heard this, what I'm currently saying in a podcast. I believe this is product management. Someone else validated it and said, yes, she herself didn't start off learning, studying to become a product manager. It's not something that you just go to school to say, I want to be a product manager. You tend to learn or find out about it as you grow, especially in the professional field. So,
Okay. Wow.
yeah,
That's a good one. Thank you very much for sharing that. But I just want to quickly
thank
point
you.
you back to I want to quickly point you back to something one of the experience you shared here, right? Talking about where you worked before as a digital
Mm-hmm.
marketer, and because what I'm saying to is I have a friend who has been experiencing a kind of similar situation, right? And I think
Mm-hmm.
he's finding it very difficult to out of that shell and move ahead with life and look for the next big thing to do. How did that moment make you feel when what do you call it, when the guys you're working with, the previous digital marketing company you're working with were like that you were not really performing or really maybe good enough for them to continue working with you?
Although, so that company wasn't a digital marketing company, it was just a random,
Okay.
company in retail. But the digital marketing company, I left that space, particularly because, like I said, the business vision, my personal goals do not, they were not and find a space for
Okay.
myself. However, I believe this is where imposter syndrome comes in because when somebody tells you that you're not good enough, you don't fit this scale, right? It
Yeah.
can really weigh on your esteem as an individual. It can tell on your performance, your productivity. It can even affect you mentally. So it was a very tough time for me.
Okay. Wow.
However, I
Thank you
didn't
very
take
much.
that criticism and, start telling myself, oh, I can't do this. This is, this person has said I am bad, so therefore
Yeah.
that's what I am. I don't speak that way to myself. I try to
Okay.
be very positive, be very kind towards myself because
Okay.
if I can extend that hand of kindness to others when they're going through a tough time, why can't I do it for me too? So what
Okay.
I did, like I mentioned, was I started to do my research. I started to find out if
Okay.
I don't fit here, where will I fit?
Okay.
And then that was even when I also had the realization that you cannot depend on the job to feed you. You need to depend on your skill. Your skill has to be what, you're looking forward to improving on for you to be
Okay.
able to do better, not necessarily the particular job where you work, right? And that's
Okay.
why people are looking for skills. You see people saying, oh no, I'd rather have a handwork. I want to be able to do something for myself because
Of course.
you
Of
can
course.
trust yourself more. I mean, if you give
Yeah.
yourself 100%, yourself won't lie to you to say, you didn't give me 100, what you gave me is 90.
Yeah.
People need to know that the decisions that businesses take oftentimes is not only affected by your performance level, it's also maybe affected by the business vision, the business budget, resources available to the business and things like this. So it doesn't necessarily negate the fact that you have been putting in your best foot or you've been doing your best. But at the same time, you should also be able to take the feedback out of the experience and learn from it and
Okay.
grow from it. Because if that had
Okay.
not happened to me, I don't think I would have ever thought in my head or in my mind that I needed to get a skill or that I needed to, transition into tech, begin the journey into finding a skill, something to rely on, and
Yeah.
all that. So for your
Yeah.
friend, I'll say whether he or she, they need to trust themselves and they need to be kind
Okay.
to themselves. They need to be able
Okay.
to take 2 steps back so they can propel themselves forward. If you're taking 2 steps back,
Okay.
maybe you need to re-strategize. Even businesses do it when they attempt a particular business plan and it fails. They turn back
Okay.
and they try to, plan, try to re-strategize, find
Of
another
course.
means
Of
to
course.
penetrate, and so
Yeah.
we're all humans. Everybody doesn't have to be perfect. No one is even perfect, so don't be too hard on yourself, right? And don't let that weigh you
Okay.
down because it doesn't 100% say who you are.
Thank you very
So
much
yeah,
for
that's it.
sharing that. That's very brief. I really appreciate that. And when you mentioned about the experience, it kind of drew me back to. I think I've shared this in one of our podcast discussions before. Talking about my
Mm-hmm.
experience in what do you call it? While I was a UI UX designer, right? When my then boss,
Mm-hmm.
my then boss, he how do I call it? He compared my design to a 19 or an 18 or an 80s Mercedes Benz. I was like, whoa, that was deep. I was like, that was deep, man. So, but even if I tried reaching out to so a couple of guys to get clarification, I really understand why that really happened. But I didn't really let that be like, oh, because they say that my design looks this way, I have to quit or something. But I still kept pushing
Mm-hmm.
actually, but before we then transition to project
Mm-hmm.
management. But thank you for also sharing that in-depth information. Yeah. So back to the conversation on product management, right? I know there's so many people who are
Mm-hmm.
wondering what is product management really like. People will hear project management, product management, PM, majorly PM. When they hear PM, they're like, oh, what's PM? You understand? So the whole concept is like, oh, is it really project? What kind of project, or is it product? What is really a product, right? So, what's your own concept of a product management so far? So far you moving from digital marketing to or transitioning from digital marketing to product management. What would you say in simple form the concept of product management is?
I think one key thing people need to understand is the timeline. A product manager is there for the long run because your product continues to evolve. You continue to
Okay.
iterate and optimize. Therefore, you need a product manager on standby or you need a product team on standby. However, projects are usually short, short framed rather. So you have like a very short timeline for the project. A project can be, oh, I want to launch this in 2 months, and you
Yeah.
work for that 2 months, and that's you're done with the project. However, you
Yeah.
can have like a product and say, I need to build this, I want to solve this problem, I'd like to build
Yeah.
this. Now the product manager comes into that space to help you define clearly what your vision is,
Okay.
strategize on how to be able to achieve the goals that you have set, properly outline what the roadmap is, and be able to follow through with that. But in most spaces, particularly in Nigeria, given the fact that most the Nigerian tech space is still relatively new compared to other advanced countries, people tend to mix the product and the project management role. Oftentimes, you see product managers juggling multiple hats. A product manager could also be standing in as a project manager. I've had to do that a
Okay.
couple of times. So sometimes it's intertwined. However, the key differentiator is in the timeline. The project is
Okay.
usually short. The timeline for the project is usually short compared to that of the product. The product is like more, the duration is longer because the product will always exist. It will
Of
continue to
course.
exist. You continuously optimize, iterate, and try to improve on what you have, right? So
Okay.
that's like the key differentiator between the both of them.
Wow. Thank you very much for helping us to explain that. So I'm seeing a lot of attendance here so far from our Twitter or X followers and our YouTube and LinkedIn followers. Please, if you have any questions, like I said earlier before I started, if you have any questions, any contributions, please send them into the comments box or send them to my DM, and I will try my best to read it out here for our guests to also engage. And also, if there's anything that is really bothering you about product management, you really want to know, please feel free to share, and also share the link across to your folks. Let's learn and share valuable information together. So yeah, thank you very much, Ada, for that very brief, what do you call it, explanation of what a product management role looks like, and that differentiator between product and project. Right here, we have management,
Mhm.
but the fact that the product and the projects differentiates it here, and everyone will be like, "Oh, okay, it's not management. I can do it. It's very simple." And I know you get most of those stuff maybe from friends or something. But
It's
in
very
all, do you
simple.
think what?
No, nothing. I was just
Okay,
laughing at what you said.
okay. So do you think in product management, right? Starting out
Mhm.
when you transition, like you said, you moved or you tried testing Python, right? And then you finally said, no, I can't go that way. But do you think you need
Mhm.
any sort of technical skills to maybe move into the product management role, or even along the line so far? Or do you think you just need to have the soft skill or just understand the job itself or the skill itself?
You need soft skills. If it's a matter of need, you need soft skills. Because most of what the product manager does involves a lot of these soft skills, and I'll come back to that. However, when growing or trying to upskill, you need to understand how to do the basic, either interpreting code, writing code yourself, and things like that. So at the
Yeah.
beginning, you can start off without code. I started off
Okay.
without code. You can start off without code. However, to grow, you need to learn one or two things about code. You need to have
So you
like
started
technical
coding.
understanding of
Wow.
how things are done. I haven't started coding, no, but I will start. So my technical product management certification review, currently working on that because I figured that I need to learn to do this. The truth is, developers will give you jargons, especially if you're like a very new person in the field. They will tell you a lot of things, and if you don't know what you're doing, you might miss you might miss out on certain things because of what you've heard from the developers without knowing that these things that they are trying to squeeze themselves out of can be done.
Okay.
For the soft skills, so what I would say to people trying to transition or going into the product field for the first time as entry level professionals is
Okay.
leverage mostly on your soft skills. There are things like
Okay.
empathy. If you're going to be able to understand your users, understand users' pain points, be able to speak with your users, communicate with them, you need to be empathetic, right? So empathy is a soft skill that you have to hold dear to yourself. if you know how to communicate, do you know how to talk to people? Do you know how to explain things to people such that they would
Okay.
understand? Are you aware of the different modes of communication or forms of communication? If yes,
Okay.
that's a soft skill that you can leverage on, right? So it doesn't always have to be because, oh, I don't know how to draft documents, I don't know how to know. There are certain things, there are key things, and I found out about this by working in the field. I noticed that
Okay.
most of my time as a product manager I spent either communicating with designers to help them understand how my design is expected to go to be able to provide a very
Okay.
good user experience for people, for my users.
Okay.
Or I'm, speaking to developers to break down the logic and understand how it should work in terms of interaction, in terms of communicating, the systems communicating with itself.
Okay.
So you mostly need transferable skills, particularly soft skills for beginners. Now, outside of communication and what's it called? Outside of communication and empathy, you also need to have negotiation skills because you're going to be managing conflicts. You're going to be resolving conflicts, and you need these things. You need to you yourself in a space as a new product manager where you will be the person communicating with stakeholders, external stakeholders. You need to ensure that you manage expectations. And you can't do that if you don't, know how to negotiate. And negotiation might come to you, or you might have the negotiation experience from something as informal as buying something in the market, right? You could go to the
Yeah.
market and say, oh, I want to buy this pen, and they say it's 1,000. I say, oh, no, 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 give me for 500. This is why you should give me for 500. And you might be able to
Yeah.
convince that person to give you that, right? So it applies also in product management because oftentimes, particularly if you work in startups, and most of my experience has been with startups, you would find yourself in situations where you have to handle the negotiation between the stakeholders because you need to be able to
Okay.
manage each stakeholder's expectation. This your
Okay.
business is expecting that it should make profit of 100,000 naira every day. Your stakeholder is expecting that you shouldn't be able to get this much from me and all. So you need to be able to balance that equation. So leveraging on transferable skills, leveraging on soft skills, particularly, would help you as an entry level professional. Then, when you get into this space and it's time for you to upscale, then you need more technical knowledge. You need to understand, how is my product being built? What is the architectural framework used to build my product? How does my product communicate with the APIs that have been provided? What do I even need? What resources do I need to get this feature to function this way? How can I optimize this feature to work better than it is currently working? You need the technical knowledge, if not coding, but technical understanding what these technical terms are. So one is the soft skills that you can leverage on, that's the transferable skills.
Okay.
However, if you're trying to grow, then you would need at least technical understanding. And I would advise people who are starting off, oh, I'm so sorry about that.
Okay. No, we understand. It's part of the system. It's part of the system. Yeah. Please, sorry
Oh
guys.
my
To
God,
everyone who's
that's
joining
so
us.
bad.
Yeah,
I
to
would need
everyone
to
who's joining
actually
us.
sort out
Okay.
this.
Okay, please go ahead. Go ahead, yes.
Okay, but
All
let
right.
me finish what I was saying. So, if
Okay.
you are, like I was saying, for those who are, trying to grow in their field outside of just entering into the space, I would
Okay.
advise that they try to familiarize themselves with some of these technical terms because it would also help so that you don't,
Okay.
feel or act like a novice or people don't think that you're a novice. Okay, my light is back on. Hey God, what is
Oh.
going on? Okay,
You can
so
just
people
just
don't
just take a moment.
think,
Just take a moment and fix it up first. Just take a moment and fix it.
all right, thank you.
Yes. All right. All right. So everyone who's joining us, thank you very much. I'm seeing the active engagement and streams. Thank you very much. I appreciate from Twitter, X, or and from YouTube and from LinkedIn. I really, really appreciate. Keep sharing the comments. Keep sending in the contributions. Keep sending in the love, and let's know that we have people who are also engaging and also benefiting from this information. While our guest is away, a quick bit for us to also get. And I just have in mind please do well to share the link with your friends, right? And also for you to also know this, and now with the manager is actually improving its process, right? We're improving our process, and also introducing some other stuff to also promote information in our own space. And we have a magazine launch coming up by next month. We're going to share the dates to those who will be following up on all our conversations. So please do well to click the link in the comments box, and you find the magazine link. You can join the wait list to know when exactly we're going to be launching that. And as well, we have a community where we have managers and professionals, other professional managers, where we get to share information, share ideas, share contributions, network, learn, and get to help yourself. If you need a mentor, possibly we can also have access to that for you. So please always stay glued to us. We are kind of our colors is very full load, right? We have everything for you. So just come ask us that question, and we'll be here to always answer to you. Welcome back, Ada. I hope you've been able to solve your light issue. Don't worry. We've been in this space together, and we know how that feels. So yeah, please.
Thank you, Matthew. So do I need to continue? Because I don't think
Yes,
I
please.
finished.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. My sincere apologies for that, Mr. Like I was saying, it's for entry level professionals, leverage on your transferable skills. Your transferable skills do not necessarily have to be tech related. They could be soft skills. They could be
Okay.
effective communication, negotiation, presentation skills, um, empathy, because you really need empathy to deal with people. So empathy. Um, and additionally, I would add that you need to get familiar with these technical terms. Honestly, trust me, product managers are known for speaking buzzwords. They just come out and say, oh, where's my PR? Give me the FR. They just start to throw the words, but the reality is the words are not, they will not be so scary if you know what they mean, right? So
Okay.
try to familiarize yourself with the words and the tools that you need. I remember one thing I used to do when I newly started was to download any new tool I hear of and just explore. Of course, I don't need it. I'm not using it. I don't have a reason
Okay.
to download it or to use it, but I just download it, create an account on it. I'm sure that there are so many applications today that you most likely see my name registered on it. I'm not using it. I just have to like download, see what it is about. One thing it does is to help you get familiar, particularly if there are tools that you use in your field. It helps you get familiar with the tools. And another thing is it teaches you because you tend to understand interaction between users and an application. It helps you to understand how different applications interact with their users, how areas where they could even improve on, and you can take that back and apply that to your own products, right? So that helps. And lastly, I would say actively network. If there's one thing I do is I try to go out. I intentionally seek networking events, see if there's anyone that even applies to me, even if it's not product related. I will just explore, I'll just go because I want to know what's happening in other industries. You might not really know where you
Yeah.
find yourself tomorrow. And product managers are
Yeah.
mostly called generalists because we tend to know a little about everything, and you have to be able to find your way. You will be an asset to the company where you find yourself tomorrow. If they're discussing a particular topic or they're talking about a particular problem, and you are able to come up and say, oh, I know somebody that does this, and I think that if I reach
Yeah.
out, the person can link me to this and that. So that's value that you're bringing to them aside from just managing the product that you were employed to manage, right? So
Yeah.
actively network. Actively networking helps you, get familiar with people, meet more people, even helps you explore what's happening in other industries as well, and as well as the industry where you currently work or the industry, your preferred industry. So basically,
Okay.
these are the tips I would give out to somebody trying to start off in products. So don't stress your head about coding. I don't code. Don't
Thank you for
worry.
clarifying that. Yeah, and
Mhm.
when you talked about product managers being a generalist, and I'm like, well, you're actually not lying about that because I think if I'm to say generally in management, right, in management itself, like professional
Mhm.
management, you get to find yourself trying to be a jack of all trade, but at least you're mastering management, but you have to literally try to understand customer experience marketing, digital marketing, email marketing, other aspects of the
Mm-hmm.
business, finance, so that you can rapport and still put everybody right and keep the business culture and vision still going. But thank you very much for
Mm-hmm.
going in depth into that explanation, right? So, but I just want to
Mm-hmm.
draw your attention back to one of the conversations we're supposed to look at today, talking about imposter syndrome, right? I know you mentioned this
Mm-hmm.
when we started the conversation, right? So I know a lot of people, I know a lot of professionals, a lot of newbies who have this problem, like, oh, imposter syndrome, like, I don't believe that I really know it all because I want to keep learning more. I need to keep adding more skills, adding more skills. I don't believe that what I know I can actually do it, or I don't need to move out to get myself challenged, be with other people, just stay in my shell. How did that first deal with you, and how did it help you also in to shape the way you think and the way you've been able to grow so far as a professional?
So starting off in my first product role, I dealt in a big time with imposter syndrome. I had a very hard time believing that I was doing it right. And why that was is because there was no other person in the product space at the place at the time. It was just me. So I was learning, implementing, and I wasn't getting any form of feedback, any form of validation as to, oh, you're doing this the right way, or no, this isn't how to do this. Rewrite it like this. So I had to, help myself come out of my shell. And I'll say the first thing you need to know about feeling like an imposter or feeling like a fraud is that you need to first acknowledge that you feel that way. Because if you feel that way and you're trying to, oh, no, 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 I don't feel like this, and you can cause more harm than good. So it's best to first acknowledge that you feel that way. Because when you do, then you can now start to learn how to overcome it. You can now start to apply steps, take actionable steps that will help you grow or, grow out of your shell. So basically, what I did was I channeled my focus on results. I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to be results oriented. This is the goal. This is what I'm trying to do. In digital marketing, you tend to hear things like, oh, when you're trying to communicate, you communicate with the goal first, or you have the goal at the back of your mind, and that way you are able to understand how to channel the communication so that it ends up in that particular goal. So what I did was I started to focus on my results. If I,
Okay.
let's assume I'm trying to create a document, for example, for the technical team. When I create the
Okay.
documents and I share with them, I ask them, oh, how is this? Do you think this is okay? Is it detailed enough? Do you want me to? And they say, oh, no, no, this is good. This is actually really good. That's the result. That's what I'm trying to achieve. That's yes for me. If
Okay.
we are working on a feature and the expectation for the feature is when we put this feature outside, people should be able to click this button and it should jump. That's my focus. That's what I'm going to focus my attention on. I don't want to know whether I am going about it the right way. Because when you start to think about that, that's when you start to feel like, oh, I'm not doing it right. I'm a fraud. This isn't the right way to do it. So you need to, first things first, or rather, what worked for me was first acknowledging that I felt this way, and then shifting my focus from the method or the approach to the results. At the end of the day, am I getting the needed results? If yes, good. If no, how can I, work towards ensuring that it's the results that I want, that I am getting? And the next thing that I did was I sought feedback. I started looking for feedback. Some people have mentors in
Okay.
their workplace. Good for you. You can always reach out to your mentor to say, look at what I'm trying to do. What do you think about it? How do you think this would work? And your mentor can give you advice on, some people don't. So in that scenario, if you don't have, you need to actively seek it. So if you have like a line manager that you report to, or you have a colleague that you work with, ask them about your work. What do you think about this? How am I performing in this area? Do you think I need to change the way I speak to people? Do you think I need to change the way I, handle sprint planning? Do you think I need to change the way I manage, stakeholders or anything? Seek feedback actively because it's really going to help you know what areas you need to improve on. And then you can continually grow in the space, right? I think thirdly, I would say you need to be able to document your progress. So it's not just your progress, everybody, we're all different, right? So people are different. What you consider as progress or what you consider as growth would differ from what I consider as growth or what I see as progress. However, you need to know what matters to you and be able to document those things because for the days when you really, really do not feel like you're putting in your best, when you go back to that document or to whatever it is that you've used to capture how well you've been growing, you would
Yeah.
see the validation that you need, right, to sort out whatever the issue is, to sort out your feelings, basically. So, first things first, acknowledge. The next thing, be result oriented. The third thing,
Okay.
actively seek validation, actively seek feedback, advice, and the likes. And lastly, you need to document your progress because documenting helps you to see how well you have done and how well you have performed. It would even come in handy if for any reason you need to negotiate higher or with your employer. So these are actionable steps that one can take to deal with imposter syndrome.
Wow. This is like what do I call it? If you're not if you're here on this session and you're not sharing this link and you're benefiting from this insight, this power pack insight alone, trust me, on behalf of my team, we are not happy with you. We are saying, go ahead, pick that link, just copy the link from YouTube, share it across with a friend, share it
Mhm.
with anybody. Let's continue to get this power pack information. Thank you for breaking that steps to hack imposter syndrome. And I think these steps cuts across different industries, different skill sets, different what do you call it
Mhm.
spaces, because actively seeking feedback is very important. Always seek feedback is very important. Document every steps you take and acknowledge that how you feel is always very, very important. And it's something that I equally share with my team, right? Whatever we are doing, yes, we are doing an amazing stuff, but it doesn't just end at we doing an amazing stuff. How many people are saying that we're
Mhm.
doing an amazing stuff? Who are the people that are saying that we're doing amazing stuff? Is it really our customers? Is it really our audience? Is it really our listeners? Is it really those who are consuming our content? Or we are just the one telling ourselves that we are doing an amazing stuff, right? So we need to all go out there and seek feedback. Let's be really convinced that, oh, this is what we're doing. And that way people, anybody who's responding to your feedback will guide you, like you've mentioned, your line manager or your mentor or something. He or she will be very impressed at
Mhm.
carrying you through your journey because I believe that people love to see progress, right? And anybody who sees progress in someone will always want to affiliate with you. And so, yeah, please, in as much as possible, let's see how to navigate through the journey of being that feeling of imposter syndrome because it's not an easy journey. And I know we have to pen to that. We are going to keep this conversation for as long as. But I just want to quickly shift our guest to a conversation on talking about the different methodologies in product management. But before then, we have
Mhm.
a question from the audience here. Unwana, thank you very much for tuning in, for joining us here from LinkedIn. So the question is, what is the best roadmap to becoming a successful product manager? I know you've mentioned this before, but I think we'd like to hear that again for the benefit of our listeners.
Okay, so our journeys might differ, like I said earlier. However, if for someone who is transitioning without any code knowledge or tech knowledge, like I
Yeah,
said, try to pick up on your transferable skills. Now, your transferable skills do not necessarily have to be professional skills. They could be soft skills. They are mostly soft skills because as a product manager, you tend to, deal with situations or deal with situations that require you to be able to use those soft skills. So you need to leverage on your transferable skills. That is number one. You need to actively network. You need to try to engage more people, engage product managers like you. Go through LinkedIn, for example. This is even one of the things I also did. Go through LinkedIn, look for product managers, look through their history, see what they are doing, what courses are they taking, what schools do they attend or what schools are they attending. When I say schools, I don't mean university, I mean like institutions, product management
product
institutions.
schools. Yeah,
Which ones are they going to? What certification? Yeah. So we have a number of them. Product school is one. So what certifications are they taking? What fields? What actually is what are they interested in? Do this type of research, take courses if you can. If you can't, I mean, might as well start working on the product to see what it feels like to build a product. But believe me, it's not easy to go that route. But if you can, take courses because the courses would help you understand better how to
Okay.
or what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be focusing your attention on, what it means to, you know, maybe collaborate with an engineering team, for example, what it means to build a product and the likes of them. So aside from leveraging on your transferable skills, aside from actively communicating, aside from, sorry, actively networking, aside from doing your research on others and taking courses, I'd also say get familiar with the relevant tools that are needed in product management. This would help you.
Okay.
One, it helps you to understand how to use these tools. Two, you could also pick out keynotes or pinpoint certain things or certain areas of improvement and maybe take that back. If you're already working on a product, you can take that back to an existing product you're working on and try to optimize on it. So basically, this is what I would advise anyone trying to transition to do. But trust me, the most important thing is to leverage on already existing skills because there's no need going to look for something when you already have it. You just need to learn or know how to use it basically to get what you need. Let me cite an example. I mentioned empathy as a transferable skill, as a transferable soft
Yes.
skill. Like you're an
Yeah.
empathetic person, it means that you're able to understand people. You are able to listen when people are coming to you with their problems. You understand where they are, what they are saying, what their pain points are. This is going to help you in user engagement. This is going to help you in user research. This is going to help you understand the pain points of your users and build your products, tailor your products directly to meet that need that the user is communicating, right? So that's a soft
Okay.
skill that you can leverage on. Another one is negotiation or effective communication. If you're able to explain something to people and they understand you without, having to crack their head as to what you mean by a particular word, that's something because you need effective communication to collaborate with a cross-functional team. And as a product manager, you
Yeah.
tend to work with cross-functional teams. So you need to be able to effectively explain what A means to a product designer, what A means to an engineer or a backend developer, what A means to a business owner, what A means to a potential partner. So effective communication is a soft skill. I mean, everybody can talk. So, how well are you able to use that skill to get the job done? So, I don't know if this
Okay.
is enough,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah.
Yes, actually. Yeah. Laying emphasis on communication and the negotiation, good
Mhm.
negotiation skills is very, very important. It's key because I know fully well that if there's anything that kills the project is if there's anything that kills the project, communication is one of those things. Because not every technical person actually knows how to communicate because they always want to finish up everything at their own space and all of that. But how do you get to deal with that as a product manager? How do you get to collaborate with your team to be able to effectively communicate despite maybe working remotely and trying to get everybody to meet deadlines and following up with what they call it with the whole process and understand that not everybody is of the same what they call it of the same skill set, right? Not everybody is of the same level, the same professional level,
Mhm.
and their thoughts process would definitely differ in terms of however they see things and they view things and they follow up with things. So how do you get to collaborate with the team as a product manager to be able to effectively deliver on a particular product process?
So oftentimes when we say effective communication, it just sounds like all you have to do is talk. All you have to do is tell this person that this is what this should be. But that's not true. You need to
Okay.
know how people um, consume knowledge. Now, say for example, you have a designer who is a visual person. The designer has to
Okay.
see designs to be able to
Yeah.
work well. I've had to
Okay.
work with, let me cite an example. I once worked with a designer that once I give him a PRD, once I say, okay, take this document, give me design, he gives me the design in accordance with what I have in the document. And, we have very little to no communication or, back and forth regarding what should be because he can just study the document and implement. While I also have worked with somebody who requires that you need to create a proper map or a proper user flow for him to understand what you're trying to say. You've given him the documents quite all right. but you need to see it to know what you mean from the document. So I would say that when trying to communicate effectively with a cross-functional team, you need to understand how best or how well that team consumes knowledge, or the person you're dealing with absorbs the knowledge that you're giving them. So is this person a visual person? Does this person need a lot of does this person need a call? Do I just need to call this person, set up a meeting and let's discuss? Is this person somebody who likes to brainstorm? Is this person somebody who likes to read? Let me just read it and do it and show you. If it's not correct,
Yeah.
you fix it or you tell me what to do. Or is this person somebody who needs you to carve it out, like sketch something? Because, like, I've had to deal with these different types of people. So I would say you need to understand how your team or how the person you're dealing with um, gains knowledge, or how they, understand what you're the message you're trying to pass to them. And that way you can effectively continually communicate with them. So either you do it visually or you just, orally, you just tell them and they get it done. So that's one key
Okay.
thing.
All right. So I just want for clarity's sake, right? So, we
Mm-hmm.
might hear this for the sake of those who are new to product management might hear this and say, oh, she's saying this because she's been in the field for 3 years plus, or she's done digital marketing and all of that. How do you get to find out that, oh, each
Understand.
individual is maybe I'm a visual person or I'm a text person? Because it sounds very big in the ears or in the eyes, right? Oh, or do I just go
It's
and start
not
asking, are
big.
you a visual person, right?
No, it's not big. What you do is you explore and you observe. So one thing with product managers is, or one thing with me, I don't know if this is accurate for all product managers, but one thing with me, I explore and then I observe. So I test. I might try to communicate something with you, tell you orally, and see how you perform. If you don't get it right, I would attempt a different approach, right? I might say, okay, you know
Okay,
what? Let
without
me give
telling
you
the
a user group.
individual.
Let me see how you work with that.
Oh,
No, you don't need to tell them.
oh, okay,
You just need to personally know that you're exploring how best to get this person to understand what the message you're
okay,
trying to communicate. Now, already,
okay,
if you give somebody a document to do something and the person doesn't do it right, you will know,
yeah,
right? So the next time you're going to that person, you change your strategy, you change your approach. Should I go with this document? No, this person didn't get it right the first time. So let me go with a sketch, or let me sketch this thing
okay,
and see what happens. Then you create a
okay,
sketch and you say, oh, see what I was trying to say. I don't know if you understand it this way right now. So the person like, okay, I think it's clearer. And if the person performs better with the sketch, you know that this is a visual person. I don't know if
okay,
you
okay.
you get the
Yeah, it,
scope.
it
So
makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
that way you pick it
Okay,
up and say, okay, this person is a visual person. This person likes to see with their eyes to understand.
yeah,
Or this person doesn't read, this person doesn't see, this person likes to hear. Maybe when you have a call and, and you have, like, a brainstorming session, you discuss it, you deliberate with the person and you see how the person picks it up, then you understand, okay, this person likes to hear these things.
okay.
So that's like the the way you pick it up, not necessarily
Wow.
going to them to say, oh, are you a visual person? Who will answer you? Nobody will answer you.
All
And
right,
that's
thank you
it.
very much, Ada, for going deeper into that conversation, because we needed to just clarify that, people who have people who will just listen and say, oh, it sounds very simple, it sounds very easy to just catch up with because maybe
It's
you've
not
navigated
easy.
this and all of that. But yeah, when you break it down like that, it still gives us access to understand that, oh, okay, it means anybody can actually do it, right? Anybody can actually do it
Mhm.
and make it make sense. But I know we've successfully hit on 55 minutes of our conversation, and it's very, very, very educative, very, very interesting, very, very informative. And if you're just joining us on this
Mhm.
discussion, please, this is an Hour with Manager Live podcast. We always host this every Thursday of the week, every Thursday by 8 to 9 p.m. West African time. We are here to, share valuable information with you like we have here today. So if you're joining us alone, and you're not able to join us, but maybe you didn't join us on time, you can as well join us next week, Thursday. We'll also have the recording on our YouTube, and also on our social media platform, where you can also listen to them and gain the value from it. And if you have any questions that might maybe spark your mind in between of you listening to the post recording, you can as well send it send a comment box or probably get to my DM on Twitter, on or X, on LinkedIn. Likewise on YouTube, and we'll also respond to them and see how to do justice to that. We have our guests to also guide you through your product management journey and to simplify process for you. But before we close up on this, right, I just have a question here, which we just need to look at quickly. On we know that there are different methodologies, right, which as a product manager you use to to make work process simplified, to make the task delivery simplified. So which are what are some of these common methodologies that you're familiar with, and how can they be effective to a beginner, right? What should they really know about those methodologies that can be effective to them?
Okay, so personally, I've worked with Agile and I've also worked with Kanban.
Yeah.
One key thing that helps you determine what your which methodology or which framework to adopt for your team is one, the size of your team, how big or how small is the team, the
Okay.
business vision, what type of product are you building, and how does the industry work? Is it a fast-paced industry? Is it a very slow industry? What is the timeline attached to the delivery of the product or delivery of the features that you have in your backlog? These are some key elements that you need to look out for when deciding on the Scrum methodology to adopt. But personally, I've mostly worked on Agile. I'm aware of Kanban. I did explore Kanban, but I've mostly worked on Agile. And I would say that if you find yourself in a fast-paced environment, Agile works better. But if
Okay.
you're in an environment where there's room for flexibility, they're not rigid on structure, then you can adopt Kanban, right? But aside from size of the team, aside also being aware of the industry needs, what does the industry need? Is this a business or an industry where there's constant iteration, or you need to evolve continually? And then also being able to understand your team's preference, even though sometimes it might just be, you have to take these decisions yourself, or with like upper
Yeah.
management if you work in a structured environment.
Yeah.
Understanding your team's needs as well would help in determining what Scrum methodology to adopt. Is your team a team that is familiar with Agile? Have they had to work on, in Agile spaces before? If they are, they would prefer to work agile. They prefer an agile framework because that's is something they're already used to. They don't want to have to change and start learning how to navigate another situation or another environment. But if they are
Yeah.
not and they prefer like flexibility, don't I don't want you encroaching on my space or checking up on me every time. I just want to get my job done and deliver. Then Kanban might be the right framework for you as a
Okay.
product manager.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you very much for that insightful information, and thank you very much for sharing all the details with us. Because if you had to ask for this in the class, I probably would have to be paying a very huge amount of money for this very lesson, this very information right now. And yeah, that's actually the reality we found ourselves. But we are here today to share these informations out for free. So for you to also learn, for you to also benefit from this, for you to also get value from this, and really appreciate you, Ada, for taking out the time, taking out your busy time, right, to to share this quality information with our audience, with our listeners, with everyone who's always staying glued to us. And trust me, to everyone who's listening, if you have any topic that is of interest to you, that you think, oh, maybe this topic can actually make big value for me, or can make a whole lot of sense for me, please do well to send it to my DM. Let's have a conversation. You probably have a guest you say, oh, I would like to see this person speak on you guys' podcast, and let him share a particular information on a particular topic. Trust me, I will be on that person's DM. We'll try our best. I'll reach out to my team. We'll try our best to sleep in his or her DM till we can surely get the person on board to come share valuable information with us today. But so far, our discussion on product management, we believe that so far what you've been able to learn, that we've had conversations on imposter syndrome, what you need to know as a product manager, what the basic skills you need to have, right? So how you need to carry on those skills, and how you can collaborate with a team to get them on board to also to also get you as a product manager to get the best result. Because it's one thing to have a good team, and also you being a product manager, you would be able to get good result at the end of the day. I've also talked about the best method, or the right methodologies, right? Actually, there's no right way. It depends on the team you're working with, like Shaz mentioned, and the guys you're working with, and what the organization also wants in return, and to the fast process of delivery and whatever it might be, the undertone. But in all, we believe that the information that have been shared so far today can get you on board into your journey through product management, and also get you to believe that, yes, whatever you know, you actually know something, that you shouldn't be scared of implementing them. To go out there, look at as much product as possible. If you don't know any product to look at, just look at an hour with the manager. I think that way you'll be able to document something. You can as well document that and then just share it to our team, and we'll definitely be very happy to get such review. And yeah, so thank you very much, everybody. And we'll be here again next week, Thursday. So if you're joining us for the first time, like I said, next week, Thursday, by 8 to 9 p.m. GMT, we will be here to continue to share valuable information with you. To our guests, do you have any last word for our audience regarding product management, regarding anything personal, regarding anything that we need to know that has also maybe kept you motivated and make you feel very comfortable having to share your information here with us today?
Okay, so from my desk, I'll say don't let your feelings stop you from being who you can be. I understand how difficult it is to navigate a new space or try to explore a different angle or a different approach, but you just need to set your mind to it. You can actually achieve whatever you set your mind to, regardless of the challenges that life may throw at you. So don't let that deter you from your purpose. Product management is a very interesting field. If you'd like to explore it, it is very interesting. Trust me. When you get to work on products and you get to see your ideas, your thoughts come to life, it's a form of validation that no other person can take from you. And it helps you to boost your confidence. So I'll say, yeah, keep trying. If you've been attempting to go into the product space, continue to try, continue to network, continue to reach out to people, try to engage more people because people at face value, it's easier to tell a person, oh, I'm trying to get this done than just bombing them with cold mails. So keep trying. Hopefully we'll see each other very soon in a very, in a product space. So
Of course, of
that's
course,
all
of
for my
course.
desk.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure we have lots of people who will be
Thank you for
anticipating to
having
see
me.
you. And if you want to connect with Ada, reach out to her on probably on Twitter, likewise on LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn at Adaobi, and she'll be able to respond to you. And if you also want to get clarity on product management or anything, mentorship, consultation, or something, please feel free to reach out to me, reach out to an hour manager at any point in time, and we will continue to be available to share valuable information with you. And lastly, I just want to share a very quick bit with you guys, something that's been helping me for the past couple of months. It's been like a habit a friend shared with me. Something very interesting. So there's this thing that keeps me going whenever I wake up in the morning to replace my coffee time. Maybe you can also try it. It's simple. It's called ginger water and garlic, warm water, and then we have lemon in it. Maybe you might be taking it very maybe randomly once a while and you just take and stop. But I would really encourage you to say, yeah, that I'm having that in my cup here, and I try to have that at least once a day, or sometimes once in maybe 2 days. Maybe if I have to go 1 week stretch, but it's been very helpful, right? And I believe it can also help you professionally if you don't really get the time to go out and stretch your legs and get to do other stuff. But at least you also need to give yourself once in a while diets to keep you going. So, but in all, thank you very much, everybody, from wherever you've joined us from, either on Twitter or X or LinkedIn or YouTube. Let's continue to share valuable information. And mind you, next week conversation is going to be very, very impactful. Ada started that in terms of networking, but next week we'll have a professional who will do justice to networking. So if you really want to know how to carry on your professional journey, how to network, how to maintain the networking connections, right? It's not easy. I understand how that is. I've also been there, and I know how it feels like to continue to maintain a connection that you have. It's not very, sometimes it's very, very demoralizing, right? But you have to do it because you know where you're going to, you know where you want to move to. So continue to stay glued with us. Let's learn and share valuable information together. So thank you very much, Ada, for your time. Thank you very much for everyone
Thank
who's
you,
tuning in to
Matthew, for
join us
having
today.
me.
Yeah. Good night, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining us from. Bye.
Bye.